Shalom. Hi. In here, I didn't make it into a bassinet. I really did. She is wearing the elephant blanket that says dream big, and right at the bottom it says little you are so loved. So that's what this baby was covered in. I never done her before. I know I did a video with her the other day, but I deleted it all because it's kind of like a Debbie Downer. Everything had just gone wrong, and I just let rip, and I spilled the beans. Well, I spilled the whole can, so yeah, I deleted it. But this little girl, she was my first 24-inch doll, and I loved her from the moment I saw her. Like I say, shall I get her? Shall I not? I don't know. What do I do? Well, eventually I got her, but here she is. She's a pickle sculpt in her gold shoes and a elephant outfit that I bought for Serafina, but it didn't fit, and I thought, yeah, okay, it's not gonna do. So today we've got Debbie, which her full name is Deborah, which means Deborah in translated from Hebrew. And oh my goodness, I love her. And here's her without the pacifier. I have a cold. I have taken some medicine for it. I've also made an appointment at the doctor's because my chest is clogged up or something like that. I don't know, I've just got chest pain front and back. No pains going down my arm or in my hands. I had to explain that to everyone who's sick, you know, everyone who's in this house. Yeah. Do I need to take you to the hospital, is what Ricky said. Do I need to do this? He's done it since I broke my back, so everything happens, he thinks it's hospital. He used to do his dad that much. Don't want me to take you to hospital, don't want me to take you to the doctors. His dad used to look at him like, are you crazy? I don't go to that place. But 4 years before his death, they got cancer. My father-in-law got cancer 20 odd years ago, before he died, and then he had his colon removed, and then he got it back. He had his kidney removed because it was also in his kidney, so he had one kidney. It came back in his kidney and attacked the rest of his body. His other surviving kidney. So he was complaining of severe back pain for 3 weeks. You know, we already knew it was in his bones. In 2016, we already knew it was in his bones, and he didn't have no treatment, did not do chemotherapy this time around, because the doctor said, oh, you're too advanced, there's nothing you can do. You might live a year or two. He proved them wrong, because he lived from 2016 right through to 2019. Now, he was riddled in cancer all over his bones way before he got diagnosed. But the stubborn man just would not go to the doctors. So he said, fine, I'm good at that. I can survive. I don't need you. And Yeah, he went on the Tuesday, and he died at home on the Friday. Because he said, I'm gonna go home. I want to spend my last days or hours with the ones I love, and that's everybody in that house. Now his daughter lived in New Orleans. Well, she still does, just outside of New Orleans, and she travelled up, and she said she had this feeling to pull over a car, and it was at 10 o'clock at night, and that's the time her father passed. She got here at 11. So you could tell she was speeding from down south of us, and she sped up and made it here an hour later. And she said, I got this awful, awful feeling to pull over. And she pulled over and she said a prayer. And at the end she said, fly high, Dad. And she went, I had no clue that Dad had died or not. It was just that feeling, and I just said that word. And when she got here, we said, well, Dad passed at 10 o'clock, and she said, that's the time I pulled over. That's the time I went onto the hard shoulder, because I had a feeling, and it was so strong. And she pulled over her car, and yeah, she did that prayer, so that was kind of weird. So ever since his dad got diagnosed second time, it's been like, do you want hospital, do you want hospital? He did it with his sister, he did it with my kids, he does it with me. Sometimes he does it meanfully, but most of the time it's genuine. And with me, it's always genuine since, yeah. I am so bummed up. I don't know. With it being chest pains, I think I've got chest infection from it. So it's not allergies. I thought it might have been. But obviously I was fighting an infection, and now it's spread on me even more. All I've done today is sleep. My kids left for school. I got up at 5. Got out of bed at 6, because that's when my body would let me move. It was like stuck. And I got up. I asked the kids, do you want breakfast here, or do you want it at school with your friends? And they said, I always have breakfast at school. I have it here and I have it at school. I said, you greedy boy. And we laughed and giggled and cut up. And then we said, no, I want it with my girlfriend, Mum. I want it at school with my girlfriend, so don't make anything for me. He's 11 years old and he's got his second girlfriend. His first girlfriend was right from pre-K, right through to 5th grade. And 2 weeks before they left 5th grade, she went to a different school. She said, I have to break up with you because we're going to different schools and we might find someone else differently. And that hurt my son because he's been with her for so many years. And then them two were the first ones in that school that dated from pre-K right through to 5th grade. They thought if they went to school together, they would have gone through high school or junior high, then gone to high school, then they probably would have married it in the end, because it was like a dynasty with them. It was just all the way through. Nothing changed. And he was heartbroken, and yeah, now he found his other girlfriend, so he's happy with her. Not sure if it'll last, but you go along with it. Because what triggered me to question it is when she said, I've got to keep you a secret because all my other friends I've come through from my old school, they're, jibing me, they're picking on me a little bit. Or you date the first person you ever meet, blah, blah, blah. So they're a bit mean with her. And she says, I want to stay with you, but I've got to keep it secret. We've just got to stay with friends. And she hugs him. He hugs her. But it's, it's just like, not forwards, it's like on the side. So he's facing her and then she'll lean into him like that. Which is fair enough. If she's getting picked on and bullied because of her peers being mean and jealous, then I understand it. I've got a click in this shoulder, it keeps cracking. It's due to me pushing my wheelchair. Your shoulder does go out and eventually you've got to have it operated on, which I'm hoping that is not the case. I've had enough operations now to last me a lifetime. But it's funny. It's so funny. And of course I refused to go to hospital. And I've tried to call my doctor to make an appointment. The doctor's office's number says the number cannot be dialed at this moment. So I sent her a message saying, look, I need an appointment with you. And I told her what's wrong with me and just wait for her to reply. She's a good doctor. She's really great. And I like her a lot. And the thing is, she's from Iran. She doesn't cover her hair, which sometimes shocks me. And she knows I'm Jewish and we get on like an house on fire. So there you go, we do get along. Not everybody's radical. She's oh my gosh, she is a trip. I mean, I've had relationships, like patient-doctor relationships with all my doctors, but she comes down like a really best friend when you get to the clinic and she really looks after you. So anybody who's underneath her, they're blessed because I've got her and she just cracks everybody up. She's thorough, she checks you out. She keeps saying you need to get this final heart procedure done to see how bad your heart disease is. And I'm like, maybe, because it's gonna cost me $455. And so far I've only got 200 of it. I am not building up a GoFundMe. I want to do it myself. So, yeah. And she says you can pay, what you've got and then keep paying on time. And I said, well, that's very hard because I pay as I go with you, which is $200 a visit. Because I get this copay, they pay 100 from the copay and I pay the rest. And I'm like, you need to go down. Why did you go dark? Because I disappeared. Yeah. As I keep saying, you need to go down the path of the British where you get the NHS. And the doctor said, oh, we'd love that. We would love that for our patients. Sadly, the American government do it because, government wants money. And I said, yeah, it's just like British government would gladly ban the NHS and put their people through living hell. In Israel, it's all free, always free. You can donate, you can put money to it if you want to, if only if you can. They don't jabber you a bit. I'm like, only if America, for the families that's worse off than me, can get free care, yes, get Medicaid, but not everybody gets Medicaid. So it's like, no, it's upsetting, it really is. It breaks my heart to see other stuff, but I can do it. I'm just slow at it, but I can do it. I have blood in my nose, left, right and centre. It's up here, so it's not coming down. I really wanted to do this video, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on. I feel okay. I've got energy. I can sweep up this room 3 times over and still be okay. Yesterday, I don't know what happened, but I had so much energy. And I said to Ricky, I said, you're going to have to give me something to do. He said, what's wrong? I said, I am so hyper. I'm not medicated, so I'm bouncing off the walls. I said, I've got so much energy. I don't know how to lose it because I can't go run around the block. Even pushing me around the block, I'll be physically tired. But hyperactively, I will not be tired. And I said, you should go do something. And he said, okay, yeah. And he got all these old vases out of the cupboard and these cups that's never being used and they're all dusty. He said, wash these by hand. Because he knows that back in England I didn't have a dishwasher, so I did everything by hand. And even in Israel, I never did anything with a dishwasher, it was always by hand. So it's like, okay, how do you feel now? I said, I might be able to sleep tonight. Because the edge of the hyperactiveness went away. Now, I've still got a little bit of it today, but because I don't feel good, my body is reacting to it. And it's like, my body's saying, will you just rest so I can rest? It's funny. It's really funny. I'm drinking coffee. It's a hot coffee today. So if I can drink hot coffee, I'm not that sick. Because when I do come down with sickness, I can't drink coffee at all. So I think it's just allergies. Well, what's the chest pain? And I keep going numb in my hands. And I am borderline diabetic. So who knows? And I'm also anemic. I am severely anemic, but she won't prescribe anything for me. Because I'm not fainting, I'm not doing anything. And she keeps saying, are you dizzy? Are you dizzy? No, I'm not dizzy. I feel fine, you know? I said, just do what you think's best for me. You're the doctor. And she does, and she says, sometimes I see a very stubborn streak in you, Becky. I said, yep, that's me. I can be stubborn at times. And we just crack up, and she went, if you were a man, I won't like to see how stubborn you'd be. And I said, oh God, I'm not a man then, because I don't want to be extremely stubborn. So yeah, it's not going well. I really don't feel good. So yeah, something's going wrong. Because every time I get allergies, I get like the razor blades feeling on my throat and top of my mouth, roof of my mouth, starting nose, runny eyes. Yeah, it's not even coming down. But it feels like it is. It's weird. If it did snot up like that, I would pause the video and go find tissue. I usually have a box of Kleenex in here, but the children have absconded, or my husband absconded off with it into his room or the kitchen somewhere. So, yeah. I'm drinking this coffee. It feels so good. I'm drinking Costello coffee. It's a beautiful Mexican coffee. But the funny thing is, it's from Alabama. I expected it to be from New Mexico or Mexico itself, and get imported, or from California even. But no, it's from Alabama, and I'm like chuckling about it because that's further away from Mexico. Even though it's still on the Gulf Coast, why did they change it to? I think it's American coast or something now. You can't change something that's always been there. It's always been the Gulf Coast, and that's what I'm going to call it, because there's always been the Gulf. I'm not changing it from anything else. You can kiss my tushy. I'm not doing it. You see, I'm hyper, so I'm like I do funny things, extremely. It can irritate people. I irritate my husband. I can irritate my kids, because they feed off it, and they've got ADHD, to my children, and it aggravates them. So I'm trying everything. I know people said, don't drink coffee then, but the doctor said coffee brings down it, but I don't have ADHD. I don't have ADD. It's an hyperactiveness that does need medicating at times. And it's just, yeah. And I'm not medicated. Never been medicated, and I've had this since being little. So you can just imagine, I wasn't a brat going through school. I was really good at school. It's when I came home, I had so much energy, so much electricity inside me, that my poor parents, they got the brunt of it, especially my mother. No wonder she hates me. Well, she hated me. She hated me from birth. I'm sitting that Bobby pillar up. Might put it behind me. It might feel good. I just want to lay that down. Just like because here it is, just up and down, up and down. Oh, my baby girl. I love this. I just love her. Yeah, she's vinyl. And no, I don't. I no longer like vinyl. I like my silicones now, since getting Seraphina and Toby. Here's Toby, but I took it off. I just called him Toby, which is Toby. So Tovia is Tobias. And I've called him, bring you up a little bit because you're weird, that's it. And I've called him Tovia, which is Toby. So yeah. She's wearing this little pink washable diaper. I used to use Terylin on my now 13-year-old, and I learned others that went into this parent class because the doctor didn't like that I wanted to use Terylin, and I said I'm not changing. So they said, okay, can you tell me why? And I told her why. And she says, okay, can you come into this centre and go through the pros and cons of, the cloth diaper or the Terrelin diaper, and I did. And I said it might be messy, it might be gross to some of you, but when you're a parent, the grossness disappears away, and you just, my arm's killing, and you just, go with it. So the smell is not too bad, because you can always do that in a disposable diapers. And I learned about 6 women and 3 fathers that was willing to give the Terrelin or cloth diaper a chance. And I showed them how to put the insert in. And I said, if your baby's gets a reaction to this, you can find another insert that's, free of whatever they're allergic to. Because I do the inserts where it doesn't try to cause irritation. And I said, well, you've got Terrelin, what else do you put on them? And I said, it's these that go over the cloth diaper. In my day, my mum used to put rubber pants over me to stop me from leaking out. But now, just the cover of a cloth diaper that you can put with it can go onto a Terrelin diaper. Just be careful you don't put a hole in it, or the pin that you're using on a Terrelin don't open up. And then 2 weeks later, they came out with this plastic stretchy pin. But it's not a pin because it didn't have a needle in it. And there was 4 pieces. 2 went here, and then 2 went on the other side of the diaper. And they held it together. And I said, now they brought this out, it's easier that you're not going to, put a hole in the cloth diaper protector. So kind of like rubbers, but it wasn't really a rubber feel. And it keeps them from having a leak out, like peeing everywhere. It doesn't protect against the blowout. Nothing protects against that, because it comes up the back, it comes down here, and it comes up the belly too. I've had babies that's done that to me. And oh my goodness, I freaked out when my first daughter did it, because I knew my nieces did it, and I thought they were sick to their stomach or something. Maybe they are when they have that. And I said, Mom. She went, well, Ema. She went, what? Wait, what's wrong? I said, look at this. And she cracked up laughing, and she went, oh my goodness, you take me back when you were a baby. And I said, what do I do? And I said, how do I take this off without getting it into her hair? And she went, I have no clue, because at that point, even though they had that where it overlaps over the shoulder, the onesie, we didn't know that it could come off the shoulders and down, so that you're not putting poop in the hair. And she went, just take it off, go put her in the bath. This was with Libby, go put her in the bath, go do this, go do that. So I went and did it, and then my other daughter, it happened a few times, and my other daughter, I don't know, there we go, that's better. My other daughter did it, and I wasn't so freaky out because of my eldest, so she was no longer my first. And my first daughter let me quite a lot as a parent, and I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do? And my mum said, look, I can write you a manual for what you was like, but your daughter's going to do completely different. And I went, I know that. They don't come with the manual. And it was just so funny. But I did have depression with her, because what triggered the depression is the crying every 3 hours from 3 till 6, and my then husband saying, shut her up, what's she crying for? Make her be quiet. Shut it up before I shut her up. And I was like, she don't come with a manual. And I took her away from him. And I went upstairs with her and rocked her, and then I said, I can't keep her quiet. And I put her into the stroller, and I walked her around the street in daytime, and then I walked around the street at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it could go on till about 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm walking the streets of Liverpool. And I was in Croxteth, which is not the best place to be at night time. And it's getting to be that part now I'm reading that it's not safe during the day anymore. I know. I'm moving this way every time I'm taking a drink, and Jada's just staying like this because she's not going to move. But it's a mindset. When you're a parent, you're going to move like this. So it's a mindset. And yeah. I'm just going to pause this video a minute and go find tissue. I'll be back. Shalom, I'm back. I got a napkin, a paper towel. That's all I could find. So yeah. Let's say it was crazy. A crazy moment. But I can't take no more medicine because I've just taken it just before I did this video 32 minutes ago. And I took it for allergies. And sometimes it works on me if I've got a cold too, so who knows? Oh, maybe. But this one, Izzy, this one, Betty, Toby, and Serafina are the 5 dolls I'm really close to, and Uriel, we're getting very close lately, so yeah. His vinyl needs a wash. I powdered him, but it's still like gritty. So I can put, he says I can bath him, but he's gender neutral. He can be either boy or girl. So that's okay. I don't have to, you know, like I do with Toby. I don't have to wash it around. I hate picking up their little thingies. I used to hate it with my first son, my second, third, fourth. I said, Mum, how do you do this? And she said, well, you know I'm a girl, Mum, right? I said, yeah. Because we were it was boy, girl, but she lost the boys. They were all stillborn. And I said, okay. And she went, you just gotta pick it up. You gotta suck it up and pick it up. And I'm like, don't want to. And my mum said, I don't know why Hashem gave you a boy. So, and then she said, you know why he really did give you a boy? I said, why? Because you're going to raise them like real men. You're not going to raise them like they're going to beat their women or be cruel. And I said, no. If I ever see my kids be cruel to their wife, I'm going to come down on them like a ton of bricks. And I said, if I see his wife hit my son, I'm going to ask her why, and then I'm going to go find her mother and tell her what happened. And if her mum don't do anything, I'll do something. Even when they're grown, it's still a village. We've still got to raise our boys and girls, not to eat each other. Oh, there's just too much of it now where men are eating women and women are eating men. You don't hear much of it, of a woman eating a man because a man won't come forward because he thinks he's weak. He's not weak. It's just like, oh, it's not common. Well, it is common, but, it shouldn't be. Girls or women are supposed to be gentle and, love our men, submit to them, where you've done all your vows, and you've said, till death do us part, love each other through everything, ups and downs. And it doesn't mean when you submit, you give your life away. No, it's not that kind of submitting. Submitting is you're going to cherish your husband and you're going to cherish your wife. And I don't understand why you hate somebody that you're supposed to love. That's why I could never understand my first husband. I gave him everything. I bought him everything he wanted, a car. My dad bought me 2 cars for my 21st birthday. My husband wrecked the first car. Well, we swapped the first car for a BMW family saloon car. And he wrapped it around a lamppost by being drunk. And I said, it should have killed you and learnt you a lesson. You wrecked my car. He was constantly drink driving. I said, one day you're going to take somebody with you and you're going to survive it. And that family that you've just killed their member of, they've got to live that life now that they've had someone taken away from them. I was so cross with him. And I've cried many nights. Like, one day he's going to end up taking somebody with him, and luckily he's never done it. And then he drank so much. He wasn't with me at this point. I'd already divorced him. But his father told me that, have you seen Mark lately? I said, no, not since I got an injunction out on him, no. Because he was trying to kill me for 2 years after I moved to Scotland. He moved to Scotland. And 2 years of that time, he tried to kill me. He tried to run me over. And no, it is a Christian, so no, it's not just Islamic men that want to do it, or Islamic women that want to do it. He is the only Christian I know that wants to do it. And I've not met a Islamic man that does it personally. I've seen it on the news. I've seen it happen, on every news outlet. But I've never had it personally. So I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm pointing fingers at one man, my ex-husband. Not all Christians do it, so he's the only Christian I know. He tried to kill me constantly. He was stalking me. Every time I went for the kids, he tried to kill me because he always said, and I didn't have it in a will, that if I died, he would get the children. Of course, as a second parent. So I went and got an injunction on him. He broke the injunction. He was threatened to be put into jail for dangerous stalking and attempted murder. And he disappeared. And out of the blue, my father-in-law calls me and says, look, have you seen my son? And I said, no. I haven't seen him for like 6 months. Why? And he said he became very heavy drinker, more than he was, and it's almost killed him. He looks like he's been in a, like he starved himself, or is, I don't know, is emaciated, is skinny, looks malnourished. And I said, well, when he was drinking with me, I had to make him eat his food, and not just drink. And he said, yeah, well, it nearly killed him, because now he's got varicose veins on his throat, or his, like I say, esophagus. It's all got varicose veins on it. And I said, I didn't know that. I'm not going to know if he's alive or dead. And he said, when you see him, you'll be shocked, because you won't recognize him. He's lost all his hair. He looks like a cancer patient on their deathbed. I said, no, he's not a cancer patient on their deathbed. He's an alcoholic, and you don't care. I said, it's beyond help. Well, somehow I'm lucky. Well, it's lucky, and I'm grateful that he listened to somebody, because now I don't know if he's still drinking, but he's gained a little bit of weight. Even now, see, I look him up, or I get pictures of him. Look, and this is how I look him up. I don't look at his name. I see pictures, because people keep sending me, what do you think of him now? And I said, what do I have to say? I said, he's my ex, I have nothing to do with him, but he looks a lot better. And his sister said, Becky, we did what you said. Even though you don't want us to love him, we just give him extra love, and we babied him for a little while. I said, that's all he needed. They need a voice, because obviously they lose that voice. And his dad said, yeah, but he's blaming me for it. And I said, I'm not being mean, because I liked you. And I'm not being mean. You abandoned him when he was little. You kept saying, yeah, I'm coming to see you, son, I'm coming to see you, son, but you never turned up on the doorstep. You didn't take notice of him until he moved in with your mother to look after her, and his grandfather was dying of the same cancer my father-in-law died of, colon cancer. And he looked after his grandparents. I said, that's the time when he turned 16 is when you took notice of him, but you didn't really take notice of him even then. It's when he met me is when you took notice of him, because you were intrigued and confused why a Christian and a Jew would marry. And I said, there's no confusion. We don't have to marry in this. But I said, my mum found him. Well, we were friends. At that point, I was dating his best friend. And I broke up with his best friend because he cheated on me. And my husband kept friends with us. My mum tried to put him with my sister. And my sister was doing things that he didn't like she was doing drugs. She went down that rabbit hole, and he said, I'm not marrying her, I'll marry that one. And Mum said, oh yes, okay, sure. Acidic, they do find a husbands. And I'm like, no. I want to be single. I want to enjoy my rest of my teenage life. I was 18 and she put me with him, and I said, no, I don't want it. I've just left a short relationship. I don't want this one. And then she comes back and says, oh, you're getting married. I said, to who? And she pointed him out to him. And it's set for July 1999. Not July, June 1999. I said, no, it's not. And yeah, it went ahead. Because she held everything that she knew, you know, this is how we do it. This is what happens if you're acidic. You do this and this. I said, yeah, but you mire us into the Jewish people. You go look around. Because we don't marry into our family. Never have, never will. We marry somebody outside our family that's Jewish. So there is a conception of that, like when people say, oh, Jews marry each other. No, we don't. We're not allowed to, by law. If you do, then you're breaking the Jewish laws. So, yeah, I got married. I had my first daughter. I got depression because he kept telling me to shut her up before he does, and blah 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 every day. Shut her up, stop her crying. I don't know how. She doesn't come with anything, and I started taking her to the doctors because she kept bringing her bottles back up, and I said, what's wrong with her? And they said, oh, she's got acid reflux. We really need to send her to Older here and have tests done. And she was having test after test after test, and it came back and said, yes, she's got acid reflux. We're going to give you this powder to put into her milk every feed. Try cut it down and stuff like that. Excuse me. Shalom, I'm back. I refuse to blow my nose while videoing me, so yeah, I paused you. I think I would have done that if I was on I've got pins, like numbness in my hands. I think I would have done that even if you was doing FaceTime with me. I would have said, just hold on a minute, put you on pause or something. I muted the sound and just blow my nose. I don't know. I'm self-conscious that way, I guess. And yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I have to go pick up Hunter with Ricky because I've got to go to the pharmacy and get Henry's testing strips. So we ran out. I was paying out of my pocket and it was $38 for 18, and I said, that's just ridiculous. And I said I phoned the doctor up yesterday. I said, look, I can no longer buy the testing strips. You put this through a prescription, but then you stopped doing the prescription of this testing strips, and we had to pay for it out of pocket, which I don't think was right, especially when you did the glucose machine where you prick your finger and do that on a prescription, and then you wouldn't do, I can't do it. 18 for $38 is ridiculous. I can't do it. Especially if I'm going to check him morning and night, and then check him if he goes weird and he don't feel good. And the nurse said, yeah, I agree. It's expensive because we give you 4 boxes on a prescription and you're good to go. So hopefully it lasts us, and we don't see the doctor then now until September 30th, and we find out if he's put on insulin or pill, because it's type 2, so type 1 is the insulin, but sometimes type 1s also get insulin. I'm hoping it's not insulin, because he hates needles. He will fight me until I prick myself, and then I'm in danger, because obviously I'm borderline diabetic, but I don't need medication. So it's touch and go, hit and miss, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to be pricked by someone else's medication, you know. It's not for me, it's not made for me. So if he fights me, because I can do it in his arm, I can do it in his leg, I can do it in his belly, which my mum used to have it in her belly, and yes, she used to bruise up terribly, and I said, you're going to bruise. No matter what, you're going to bruise. And he says, well, I don't want people thinking bad about me having a bruise on my arm or a bruise on my leg. I said, the only option is your belly. If you do go on the insulin, and he said, fine, I'll take it. I do have a box, but it's not a box opening. I don't have another door. A hall. I have to do it in my bedroom later today. That's another reason why I came up. But I didn't bring the bag with me. It's a Mummy Day bag. It's huge. I got off Temu. I got diapers. And I did show you the toy that goes on the stroller either. Wow, that shocked me. I got choked on coffee. How crazy is that? But yeah. Oh, I've got a fly in this room. That means my husband's just opened the back door and left it open to do something, and then came in. For some unknown reason, I think it's because he's lazy. That's what it is, it's lazy. When I moved here, the trash cans were outside the back yard. They was not in the backyard at all, they were at the fence. So you just take it back and you stop it just as it goes around the corner, and that's where you put it. It was there until his sister died, and then after that the trash can is right next to my door. So yes, we get rodents and we kill them off really quick, and we get flies because the trash can is right by our door. There's a doorstep, there's the railing, and there's a trash can, like that far off the railing. So he doesn't have to go outside, or he doesn't have to help me take my trash out of the bathroom and put it into the trash can. It gets me to sling it over the railing into the trash can. And it's like, you know what, I could go down my ramp every day carrying my trash bag in my, between my legs. Periodically I might have to stop it from falling between my legs into the underneath the wheelchair. But if I sit it right enough, it won't fit through my legs. As I could go up and down my ramp, rain or shine, I don't care. I've been in and out. When I first came here, it was not always sunny. It did have some rain, and we put the trash bags out there. Now the trash bin is in the kitchen. It's next to the table, at his feet, and it's a big trash can, so it stands that big, and it's at his feet. So I say he's just freaking lazy. I don't say freaking, I do actually curse. I I said, it's too lazy. It's just laziness. I hate laziness. If you're lazy, nah, I can't deal. I can't deal. My personality does not go with lazy. It's just no. It's too much. I'm waiting for him to move them box of bags and a bag of clothes. Sorry, the box of clothes and the bag of clothes. I'm waiting for him to go take them to a clothes outlet so they can be sold. There's a box of shoes that don't fit my son because he's a size 10 and he's 5 foot. He's not 5'5". He got remeasured. He's just 5'3.5", almost 5'4". It's like an inch, like that much under being 5'4", like mailman's just been. And it's just, they're too small. They're size 8 and 9. And my other child is in a 6. So, yeah. He's been in a size 6 for 2 years. Well, a year and a half. No, almost 2 years. I'd say he was a 5.5 if he didn't wear socks, but with socks he's got to get 6 because they feel a bit tight on him. So he wears a 6. He's only 4'4". He grew to it. I think he grew an inch because he was about 4'3". He grew an inch. Finally grew an inch. Coffee's kind of cold, but it's okay, I can still drink it. It tastes good. So, yeah, I'm gonna go because I'm snotty and I don't like really sniffling. So I'm gonna go and I'll show you my haul today. I've got 18 diapers, so I'll show you everything. It might be a short video, but I'll still be back. Okay, shalom, shalom.